All right, recording. It is August 16th, Team SB call. I guess I probably should have shared that on like the recordings. Everybody else can see that. It's messing us. There's a Beach by On Demand Spotify channel for those of you that are watching the recording. It's phenomenal. Autumn's is really good. I actually listen to it in the shower because it's like, just, feeling it. But guys, we're halfway through the month. It's been a rocky month in a way, not in a way where it's like things are bad. It's just been like slow, and my no answers and no lists are just record breaking right now. But I'm taking that as a sign of good things that are going to be happening in the next couple of months, because when I get this many no's, it's usually, it usually means that good things are on the way. So just keep that in the back of your mind for those of you that are not really where you want to be yet and you're feeling a little discouraged. Do not let your mind go there, because if you do let your mind go there, like, you're screwed for the rest of the month. Just keep going, keep helping people, keep pushing forward. And my advice to those of you who are where you wanted to be, do not stop. It is August 16th, and nothing is more infuriating than seeing coaches say, okay, I hit Success Club 6, I'm done. Like, we need to keep pushing. We have lives to change, and you want to keep going. So keep that in the forefront of your mind. And please know that you're not alone in the unbelievable amount of no's and no answers you're getting this month, because I'm right there with you. Also, second, I was wanting to shout out a couple coaches. I want to shout out Kaylee and Lena and Alicia for really stepping outside of their comfort zones yesterday and going live in our coach sneak peek. We have had this past couple of weeks of us bringing on coaches that were not us has just been unbelievable in every aspect of the word. Like, I think that sometimes it's harder for people that are coming into the business to relate to somebody that's been in the business for 3 years, right? I mean, you can relate to the cool things that I've achieved and all that good stuff. But hearing from somebody that, like Kaylee and Lena, who've only been in the business for a couple months, Alicia, I just shouted you out. It's amazing. Like, it's so amazing to like hear these stories. And every single time I literally was like, I talked to the other girls that hosted with me that do like the nighttime calls, and we just figured it was just, everybody knows our stories. It's great. But it's been so humbling, and like, I had chills yesterday just like listening to your stories and listening to the emotion behind your voices. And it didn't surprise me at all that there were so many coaches introduced in the team page yesterday. It was so cool for me to see. So I just want to tell you guys, I'm proud of you. I know that that's not easy to step out of your comfort zone and do that. We have 3 new coaches doing it next week. I nominated Delaney doing it for next week. We have Lizzie doing it next week, and we have Allie doing it next week. So all of them are going to be sharing their stories, and then Rebecca will be doing our talks and all that good stuff at night. But I think that the best thing we can do, guys, is to keep this going every Tuesday. We have over 200 people in that group, and you never know which person that story that they need to hear from to finally get that kick in the pants that they're ready to do this. So I figured what we can do is, keep going, and, maybe take a break for a couple weeks and then come back. But I love the idea of having them hear from you guys. And I'll be pulling 3 new people every week. And I'm proud of the coaches that 2 of you guys went live for the very first time ever yesterday. And I'm really proud of you. So congratulations on doing that. And if you do have people in there, guys, please make sure that you're not just like letting the sneak peek end and then just, nothing. You have to follow up with them. You have to re-invite them. Send them messages and be like, thanks so much for tuning in yesterday. Wanted to make sure that I formally invited you to join our team. Or have a great coach. We have a great coach training that we'd love to have you be a part of. So, but I did see a ton of people get introduced yesterday, which was super cool. So I think that's pretty much all I have. Yeah, that's all I really have. So I want to introduce Brad. I mean, I don't really need to introduce him because he's talked to you guys multiple times already. But the reason like I told you guys last week, I've been looking for, Lizzie D. Your time will come. But I'm looking for, this time last year, it's funny, I came across my notes from 2016. I had this big binder I was looking through last night, laying in bed, and Zach's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going through the things that I was writing down last year, because last year was a unbelievable year for me and our team. And this time last year, I got off a call and I have notes with Keyshawn, who spoke last week, where she told me, and I have it starred and highlighted in my 2016 notebook. It was like August, and it said, find people to speak on your team call that will light a fire. And it was like, no offense, but that's not going to be me right now, because you guys hear from me all the time. And you guys know what I have to say, and you guys have learned from me, and you know what I believe and what I'm going to tell you to do. But I knew that we needed somebody that is going to really make you guys kind of step outside of your comfort zones a little bit and understand the decisions that you're making every single day are playing a huge role into where you're headed by the end of the year. Because you guys made these goals on January 1st, and you had all these giant plans for this year. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I can confidently say that I'm not where I thought I'd be right now. You know, I thought I'd be way farther along. So, but we do have time, and I'm reading the 12-week year right now. And if you haven't read that book, oh my God, I just finally decided I was going to sit down and actually read it and apply it. And it's true. What we can do in the next 4.5 months can be remarkable if we have consistency, the right mindset. And I could not think of a better person to talk about these two topics than Brad, who you guys have heard from before. So I'm going to let him just take it away and have the full hours. That way he can just spark it up for us so we can go into the rest of the year strong. So take it away, brother.
Woo! I am pumped to talk to you guys tonight. How is everyone doing? Everyone good? Nod your head if you're doing well. I promise you that I'm not insane. I am just insanely high energy. So before I get started on my topic tonight, I'm talking to you guys about purpose, consistency, and momentum tonight. And before I get into that, I think we all need to take a second and just take a moment of gratitude for Kelsey. Like, I'm not just saying that, like, no bullshit. I work with her every week, and I see how hard this woman works to serve you guys and to help you guys and to find new creative ways to uplift and inspire you guys. And I just think that we all need to take a second and just share in the chat box why we are so incredibly grateful to have her as a leader on this team, right? Like, she's just someone that truly uplifts and inspires every single day. I know you guys, your lives have always been impacted since you started as a coach. And if it wasn't for Kelsey starting Team Simply Beautiful, then it wouldn't have happened. So Kelsey, seriously, dude, like, mad props to you. And I'm so proud of everything your team is doing. And it's just freaking amazing. So Kelsey started with a purpose. And she started with a purpose and a vision, right? I started with a purpose and a vision. Every single person that's a coach did. And my question to you guys is, do you know yours? Do you know your purpose? Let me close the door. Your purpose, your vision, right? And I'm sure there are a lot of top coaches, and new coaches out there that I think can use some time to reevaluate this. And I want you guys to really think after this call, your homework coming away is to think, what do you really, really want out of this? Use your time tonight to reevaluate that, because it's so incredibly important to find why you're here. And it's something that's so easily taken for granted. I'm getting some feedback noise from Angie over there. But it's something that can be so easily taken for granted, guys. So easily taken for granted. You hear all the time, like, part of your getting started system is what's your why. You find out what your why is. And what a lot of coaches do is, because they're scared, or because this is new, or because we've never really defined it, we end up stating a goal instead, right? I ask a lot of people what their why is, and their response is they just want to help people, or they want to earn 6 figures, or they want to take a vacation, or they want to retire their spouse, or they want to quit their job. But guys, that's not a why. That's a goal. Retiring your spouse is a goal you can achieve. Your why is the emotional attachment to those goals coming true. It's the what would it feel like? It's the what would I be able to contribute to the world? What would this do for me and for the lives of other people? And the reason I say that is because when you find the real, deep, passionate fire under your ass, that vulnerable, emotional reason why you're on this call right now, instead of watching Netflix or drinking a glass of wine or whatever it is, then you'll want to implement the things that I'm going to teach you as a skill set, and you won't lose motivation. So I want you guys to write something down. Take notes on this. Leaders take notes, right? So write this down. When your purpose is big enough, taking action becomes second nature. When your purpose is big enough, taking action becomes second nature, right? How many of you guys got that written down? And that is so important to understand, because what a lot of people do is they go into this without some sort of purpose behind their back. They go into this without some sort of fire belly, and they just want the goal to happen. They want the goal to just magically come true. And it won't just happen like that, guys. You need to have a purpose that's big enough so that you just will take action, right? I have a metaphor that I like to use, and it's a metaphor on why your purpose needs to be clearly defined. Your purpose is the internal guide that will stay true no matter what, right? No matter what's happening on the outside. So the metaphor is sailing, and you have a compass. Think about Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean, right? You have a compass, right? And that compass points to where you want to go. That compass is your purpose. So when the storm of life comes, which, guys, guess what? Shit's going to happen, right? Shit is going to happen in your life. Perceivingly bad shit, someone saying, can I swear in this call? I'm going to swear in this call, I don't care. But perceivingly bad shit that's going to happen, like all this stuff that they're used to it, that it seems like is just getting in the way. And it's the storm of life, right? And when that storm of life comes and blocks the sky and they're 50-foot in every single direction, you can still grab whatever the hell that big wheel of the boat is called and steer, because you have your compass. You know where you're going. And when that storm of life subsides, which it always does, you're still on course and you're further along in your journey. In the meantime, all the people that set out without a compass or without defining their purpose, really finding their real reason why, either crash against the rocks or they're scrambling in a panic trying to figure out where the hell they are. So do you truly know why you're here? Do you know your why? Honestly, like, say yes or no in the chat box. Do you actually know why you're doing this? If not, that's okay. But work with your upline in this, because just don't do what I did for a year and a half and completely avoid this. Think about why people don't do it. Most people don't take the time to do this and really sit down and think about it, because it takes time. It takes going back to places in your life that I'm pretty sure most people want to block out from their life, right? Most people don't do it, and it's non-conforming. But if you want to be and feel successful, don't do what everyone else does, right? It's scary. It's scary to go through. Victoria, I love that. Work with your coach on defining what that purpose is. If you're Victoria's coach, then I want you to dig in and ask why. Why is that important to you? What would that feel like if? What would happen if that came true? What emotions would you feel? Because I want you guys to get to the core of this. And it's scary to go there. I had the same feelings of being terrified with this. I didn't know how sharing that type of stuff would go, like sharing it publicly, what my purpose is in the world. But that fear is what stops us from pursuing our dreams, right? Fear is that thing that makes us think twice before we even consider trying. And this is a call on consistency and momentum. We'll get there in a minute. But I want you guys to understand that everything you will ever want in life is always going to be on the other side of fear. Everything you want will always be on the other side of fear. And it's the only thing that's holding you back from attacking that fear. The only thing is yourself. It is 100% you. And I challenge you to attack this business in a different way than normal, a different way than what most people do. Successful people are always optimistic regardless of the circumstance. So instead of asking yourself, what if you fail? Because trust me, guys, you're going to screw up. You're going to fail at this business more than you're going to succeed, period. You're going to fail at this business probably more than you failed at anything in your entire life. I have. But that's what makes me successful. So instead of asking yourself, what if you fail? Because you will, ask yourself, what if I succeed? What if my purpose is fulfilled? What if I can retire my husband? What would that feel like? What if I can travel without having to worry? What would that feel like? Right? What if I can change thousands of lives and become a beacon of hope and positivity and someone's bridge to becoming courageous and strong and powerful and living every single day full of passion? That's my purpose. What if you can give your kids the life they deserve, right? Like, what would that feel like? What if you succeed? That, I want you to be your new mentality. I want that to be your new mentality from now on. There's a reason why, guys, the majority of people don't even consider doing what we do. Ellie, that's okay. You're going to get solid on it. And if you're having trouble with it, reach out to me. I'm privileged to help you with that, right? But there's a reason why the majority of people won't even consider doing what we do. It's because they're afraid. And you guys are not most people. Every single person on this call is special because you're freaking Beachbody coaches. That is a good thing, right? You are going to change lives. Take pride in the fact that you're weird. You're different. You went about life in a different way. There's so much social identity behind what we do, right? Like a school teacher, a stay-at-home mom, a fireman, an engineer, whatever your career is, we say it with pride because it's what most people do. It's a socially acceptable thing. But when it comes time to stand up and say, I am a Beachbody coach, I'm an entrepreneur, and I change people's lives for a living, people cower and hide because they haven't defined what their purpose is. But please, guys, please, leaving this call, accept the fact that helping people is really fucking cool. Helping people is amazing, right? Accept that. Your inner strength to say that is stronger than 98% of people out there. That's why you're here on this call right now instead of doing something else. You're here. You want this. There's something in your gut that says, I'm supposed to be here. You join an industry that's always going to be the cause of a lot of envy. Embrace that. Because whatever adversity you face from other people, whatever adversity you face from your parents or your spouse or haters out there, that's your advantage, guys, right? Use that to drive you and trust that the inner strength that you have is going to be stronger than any excuse you could make. When your purpose is deep enough, taking action becomes second nature, right? All of a sudden, results become more important than excuses when you find what your purpose is. So we understand the purpose of talking about your purpose. Let's integrate that and show you how it plays a vital role in this business, because we need purpose if we ever want to implement this. So how many of you guys have ever lost motivation in your business or ever felt burnt out in your business? I have. Don't lie. You lie about that. You lie about other shit too, right? Feels like you're trying to start a fire in the middle of a hurricane, right? You guys ever felt that way? Like you're forcing yourself. I give this example on every call where you see your computer staring at you and you know that you need the invite and you care so much, but at the same time, you don't give a shit in that moment. You know what I mean? You just want to watch Criminal Minds or New Girl or whatever the hell it is, but you care so much about your invites being sent out, but you don't care at the same time. And it feels like you're trying to force yourself to be motivated. And you're just pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing. But no matter how hard you push for it, it just seems like there's an energy to give. I've been there too, guys. The entire first couple of years of my business were like that. I've been in that place. And that's where stuff like this, like these calls, like personal growth, like investing in seminars, getting a summit, going to Super Saturday next month becomes so crucial. Because you know what, guys? If you learn to think correctly when you're down, and that is a skill, it is going to be such a shorter period of time before you get back up and you have that fire lit again. Guys, that happened to me almost weekly. That feeling of forcing a fire to start in the middle of a hurricane. And you do really well. You guys pushing for diamond that I talked to before this call, right? How many of you guys have ever felt that you're going from A to B and you're doing well, you get to Emerald and you're going from B to C and you're about to get to C, but something happens right before you're about to get to C and you kick yourself in the ass and you self-sabotage and you go right back to B, right? You go right back there. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about, where you've invited, you do really well, you get to Emerald, you hit Success Club again, you're one coach away, and then shit hits the fan in life, and you screw yourself over and you go right back, right? We need to learn how to break through that and get to D. We need to break through C and get to D. Because that's what I had to go through. Those are the mental cobwebs of my business that I had to break through. And I can do a whole other call on that. I think I've actually done that call for you guys before, and I'm happy to do that again at any time. Right? But I had to learn how to adjust my thinking so I could break through that C, whatever that is for you, and get to D. I had to learn to adjust my thinking to get out of those slumps and just to get out of them faster. And I worked so hard on my mindset. I worked so hard on my personal growth. And something interesting happened. All of a sudden, I started to become consistent. When I worked on my mindset more than I worked on my business, I became consistent. And those periods of stress and anxiety and depression and overwhelm that I faced multiple times a week, they started to happen once every 2 weeks, then once a month, then once every 6 months. And now when they happen, I know how to course correct and change my thinking. Those are the cobwebs of your business that you're going to have to get through if you want your why to come to fruition. So how you think when you're down determines how long it's going to be before you get back up. How you think when you're down determines if you will be consistent or not. I had to learn to focus on what I wanted instead of what I don't want. How many of you guys say to yourself, I don't want to miss Success Club? Instead of, I really want to hit Success Club. Ask yourself that question. How many of you guys say, I don't want to miss Success Club instead of I really want to hit Success Club? See how you're focusing on what you don't want? You're literally putting the focus on what you wish wasn't there. You're focusing on not hitting Success Club. That's why you're missing it, right? Or barely hitting it. How many of you guys have focused on, I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to lose rank. I love it. What if it was instead, I'm so excited to build a thriving team, right? You flip it on its head. Instead of, I don't want to be depressed anymore. I want to feel happy and excited every day. Instead of, I don't want to be broke. I'm so excited to be wealthy. Do you see the difference? There's a huge difference in that, guys. What you focus on a second-to-second basis becomes reality. Wherever, what's Tony Robbins' quote? Wherever focus goes, energy flows, right? How many of you, when you're asked what your goals are, you say something about how you don't want to feel a certain way or you don't want X to happen anymore? Be honest. How many of you guys say that? Quit that shit right now. Right now, because that is what's holding you back. I don't want to miss out on Diamond. I don't want to miss my Success Club deadline. I don't want to be a bad leader. That is why you are screwing up in the goals that you have. That's why you're self-sabotaging, right? Focus on what you want. Be honest, right? Like doing that, focusing on what you don't want is a recipe for a lack of consistency in your business because you're focusing on what you don't want instead of what you want. And it feels like no matter how hard you push and push, you just stay stuck, right? You just stay in the same spot. Change your focus. Flip it, right? Flip it from what you don't want to what you actually want. And watch your wording. Write it down. That's a homework coming out of this call. So change your focus. But how many of you guys, be honest here, how many of you guys actually didn't even want to be on this call tonight? I'm totally honest. Anyone? All right. That's pretty good. Normally when I talk about that, I get a couple hands. That's good. How many of you guys feel like you can go 2 to 3 weeks strong, and then you trickle off and disappear with both fitness and your business? 2 to 3 weeks, really good at inviting, really good, shit hits the fan, go back. Really good at nutrition, really, really good, hit the fan, shit hits the fan, and you go back, right? Like, and I'm gonna, oh man, I just thought of a note that hope I remember at the end of this call that I want to talk to you guys about. But it's because you've never done what it takes to gain momentum. If you feel that, it's because you've never done what it takes to gain momentum. You guys know the activities. I know Kelsey, and I know that she preaches this shit all the time, right? Vital behaviors. You know what it takes to build a business. She tells you every freaking day, right? You know the activities, but you might not have defined what your purpose is. So the drive to hit the goals in those activities is so much smaller. So step 1, define your purpose. But step 2 is get your ass to work consistently. Question: how many of you guys have ever read The Compound Effect? Anyone? If you haven't, then you won't know what this example is, and that's good. So if I were to give you $3 million cash right now, I don't have $3 million, but if I did, if I were to give you $3 million cash right now, or a single penny doubling in value every single day for 31 days, what would you pick? Most people would pick wrong, right? They don't want to pick the way that gives them the compound effect, the consistent way. They pick $3 million. This business works the same way. On day 1, you got 1 cent. On day 5, you got 16 cents. On day 10, you got $5.12. On day 20, you have like something above 5,000. I think it's like $5,200. Doesn't feel too good about versus $3 million, right? Day 20 doesn't feel too good. But day 31, $10.7 million. Do the math. That's right. What's better? Like, what would you prefer? 3 or 10? 3 or almost 11? That's the power of consistency. It takes being consistent for a really long time if you want this to happen. And you have to believe with undying faith that it will happen before it does. Question for you guys, another example. What's better, brushing your teeth every single day for 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, flossing each day, or flossing and brushing your teeth for 2 hours once on Sunday? You know, some danky-ass breath, right? Consistency prevents cavities, right? Another example, this business is like pushing a boulder up a hill, guys, right? And this is just probably the best example of why it's so important to stay consistent with this and why you absolutely need to. It's like pushing this massive boulder up a hill, and it's hard, and you're pushing it. And so many people start off strong, and they go a quarter of the way up that hill, and they're excited, they're inviting, they're being proof of product's worth, they're doing their personal growth. They get about a quarter of the way up the hill, and they're going, damn, this isn't happening yet. What's going on? and they get tired and they stop, and that boulder rolls back down the hill. But this time, instead of it going back to the starting point, it rolls back down further because it has momentum going backwards, right? That's what happens when they say, shit, why isn't this happening? And they stop. And then you know what happens? They get on a team call like this. They go to Summit or they go to Super Saturday, and they get really excited again. They're like, Kelsey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it. And then they push that boulder all the way back to the starting line, and then they go and they push even more. And it took them even longer to get back to a quarter of the way up that hill. And they're going, wait. I pushed even more just to get back to the same spot. And they're sick and tired of not getting results, and they let it go. That boulder goes right back down the hill to the same spot. And then maybe they tune into another call, and they say, you know what, this is it. I'm so sick and tired of my life being this way. And they say, I'm going to change my life. And they push it halfway up the hill. They go all the way back to the starting line. They go not just quarter way, but halfway up that hill. And they're so excited. They've gotten further than they have the last time. But life gets in the way. Things don't go their way in their business. And they go inconsistent with their behaviors, with being proof the products work, with personal development, with inviting, with social media. And they stop halfway up that hill. And they let it go. And the boulder rolls all the way back. This time it's even further than it was the last two times because it has even more momentum going down. And then they give up. They either give up or they say, you know what, screw it, I'm coming back. And it's just a perpetual cycle over and over and over again. But think about this. What would have happened if they just stayed consistent? Right? If you go a quarter of the way up that hill, then a quarter of the way up that hill, and then halfway up that hill, just like they did, only it's going to take less work because you don't have to push that boulder back to the starting line. What happens? You get to the top. And when you get to the top, that boulder rolls down the other side and it's sprinting away from you. You can't even catch up to it because it's moving so fast. That is how consistency works in this business. So most people quit and they stop being consistent because they are convinced that this business doesn't work. But you need to understand something, guys. That is false. It is not this business that doesn't work. It's you that doesn't work this business. I want you to write that down. This business always works for those that are consistent. Always. Every single freaking person in the world that's a Beachbody coach has the same compensation plan, the same business opportunity, the same products. You are the only difference. That's it. Because if you would have just kept going up that hill, quarter plus a quarter plus a half, you would have been on the other side and it would speed away from you. But here's the problem, guys. Most people quit before the miracle happens. I want you to write that down. Don't quit before the miracle happens. That's why I'm still here. Guys, I went inconsistent with my coach invites every year for 3 years. Went inconsistent with my coach invites every year for 3 years. And I finally decided to stay on that escalator that I talked to you guys about on your team page a couple months ago. Finally decided to stay on that escalator. And I decided not to quit before the miracle happens. But most people don't stay consistent. Most people on this call, actually, I bet half of you guys won't be here a year from now, right? Just statistically, that's what I hope you are. But statistically, that's how it works. Most people will give up. I challenge you not to be that person. Because if you just stay with it, your life will change. Don't be that person that blames their upline or blames the business and said it doesn't work. It works for everyone as long as you decide to work it for a long enough time. And how long, you might be asking? A minimum of 5 years. You want this to change your entire financial future, 5 years. That's how long you have to be consistent if you want this to run away from you. Some people get it earlier in 2. Some people get it longer in 10. 5 years if you want an actual number. But think about it. What's actually harder? Do you want to work 40 hours, or probably more than that, 50 hours a week for 50 years of your life so you can retire on 50% of your income? 50-50-50 plan? Is that harder? Or is it harder to work 5 years on something that benefits other people's lives and the lives of your family? What's harder? You guys get to choose what's harder right here and right now. So you have to be consistent. You can't give yourself false expectations that you're going to be rich in 6 months. That's bullshit, right? You have to give it 5 years of hard ass work. And you stay consistent every single day. I have for 4 years, and my life has changed. Not with Coach Invites. That part of my business has changed, right? But if you stay consistent for that long, your life will change. You have to be willing to work with complete faith in Kelsey, right there, $18 paychecks for 6 months. right? You guys have to be willing to work with complete faith in the unknown and passion behind a dream with purpose at your back if you want to change the course of your family's future. You have to. The coach that always has to play catch up or always has to get refocused or always loses sight of their purpose is the coach that never gains momentum, and it never gains the momentum that it truly takes to build this into something special. So if you want this to work, stop stopping. That's your key to your entire business. Stop fucking stopping, right? Would P90X work if you did 1 week on and 1 week off? 1 week disciplined nutrition plan, working out, doing pull-ups and push-ups, whatever the heck Tony does, and then 1 week eating whatever you want and not exercising. Would P90X work? No. Would you keep losing weight or keep being toned up with 21-day fix if you used the containers for 21 days and then didn't do anything for 21 days? Would your life change? No. Consistency is everything with this business and with your program. And you need to see it in a different way than most people do. Most people, when it comes to their business, they see it as an expense of their life. And what I mean by that is they see it as time being taken away from their family, time where they can't watch Criminal Minds or New Girl or The Office or whatever, time where they can't do this, can't do that. And when you look at it, whether it's, and with your fitness, I can't have cheese, I can't have this, I can't have that. Most people look at their nutrition and their business with an I can't do X anymore mentality. And if you do that, you are a victim to circumstance. But if instead you decide to take it from a different approach and you say, I have the privilege of being disciplined in this business to give my family a future that they've always dreamed of. I have the privilege of working hard on my health and fitness so I can be the happiest, most confident I've ever been. If you look at it with that mindset and shift your focus, instead of focusing on what you don't want, focus on what you want. We talked about that already. Your life changes. Last metaphor before I go into how this actually applies to the vital behaviors. You guys know those wells out in the country that you got to pump, right? Like an actual well, you pump it, like, and you got to pump it and you hang a bucket over it, right? Janice has one. She grew up on a farm. And you're really, really thirsty, right? You guys are thirsty. You want this business to work. And you want water so bad. And you start pumping. And I want you to ask yourself as I go through this metaphor, what type of well pumper you are. Person number one, you think this could happen, right? And you pump and you pump and you pump. And nothing's happening. You're going really hard and you're pumping that well. And when you're going for it, you're thinking that like, okay, what's going on? Nothing's coming out. Nothing's happening. So you stop and you blame the world for your problems, saying that it's the well company or the water, whatever, I don't even know, right? Like whatever company does the well, water, whatever, right? You blame them for your problems and you become a victim to the world. You go back to where you were thinking this should have happened by now. You give up on the dream and you stop pumping that well. That's option number one. And be honest, is that you? Have you been pumping for a week and you say, this doesn't work? Everyone's saying no to me, right? Think about that. Then there's person number two. There's the coach that believes not only that this could, but that this should happen. And they have some hope, right? They have some hope in this. And they keep pumping even when their arms get a little bit tired. And they see those people leave the well. They see the other people, the haters out there, right? And those people kind of leave and they stop pumping the well and they complain. But they're like, no, something's here. Something's real about this. I'm going to keep pumping. And they keep pumping. Their arms starting to burn. Just a little trickle of water comes out. A first challenge pack. All those hours put in for one $50 commission. It's that little trickle of water. And that coach goes, that's it. All those no's and this, they quit. Go right back to the beginning. Then there's person three. Person three is the coach that believes not only that this could, not only that this should, but that this will happen. That's me. That's Kelsey. Is that you? Right? That this will happen and keeps on pumping no matter what. They go through when their arm is burning and all those people are saying no, and those other people leave and quit and go chase another MLM or another shiny object, and they push through it and they see that little trickle of water coming out and they know they're onto something. When everyone else leaves and they only got one success club point or whatever, they're like, no, I'm going to find a way to make this happen. They keep pumping and their arms getting tired. They push through the burn, just like Sean talks about in his workouts, and they fight through all the pain and they never freaking give up. And then they finally get an endless stream of water. And guess what? Once they do, you just got to pump once every 10 seconds. You don't have to worry about your arm being burnt out. So where are you on that belief bridge? Do you believe it could happen? Do you believe it should happen? Or do you believe it will happen? It takes all three if you want this to work. Consistency is everything in this business, guys. Without it, you will go nowhere. You will stay in the same life, in the same spot. You will wake up 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, having the same bad day. Nothing will change, no impact, no financial success, same exact spot. But if you're consistent, your entire universe will change. Don't quit pushing before the miracle happens. There's an inverse relationship between time you put in and success in this business. In the beginning, you're going to face a mental block because you're going to be putting in all of this time and it's going to feel like nothing's coming out of it. And you're going to keep going. Then your spouse is going to be like, dude, you're wasting all this freaking time and all this money. Stop coaching, right? And you're going to hear that. But if you have that entire belief bridge and you start to realize that it's going to start to take less time and you're going to start earning more money, and eventually it's going to cross. And when you hit that point, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm onto something. So how does that relate to our business, right? You have your compass, you have that well, you have that boulder, whatever it is for you, whatever you related to tonight. So how does this work with actual coaching? How does this relate to the behaviors? In the beginning, what do most people think, right? It's a fad. You know, good for them, I can never do that, or that will never work. But think about this in relation to your vital behaviors. Let's talk about personal growth first. Personal growth. In the beginning, you think it's a waste of time. I did. How many of you guys thought personal growth was a complete waste of time when Kelsey told you to do it right away? I thought my coach was crazy. But, you know, it leaks off into other people you're trying to help, and they can tell you're not for real about your own mindset, and they might disappear. But what if you keep picking up that book for a few months, and you don't give up on it, and all of a sudden you find yourself waking up happier? You find yourself a little more motivated. You want to do your workouts. You want to drink your shake. You want to talk with people. You have a better outlook on life. Like, oh my gosh, I'm onto something here. That little trickle of water is coming. Then you keep reading that book. You keep listening to that podcast. You keep picking it up, and then it's been 9 months to a year, and your entire outlook on life has changed. You believe in people before they believe in themselves now. You radiate energy. You believe in yourself. You know it's going to happen. And all of a sudden, an amazing thing happens when you're consistent with personal growth for a year. People are attracted to you. Go figure. It becomes easier to hit Success Club, doesn't it? What about your workouts in Shakeology, right? Start off in the beginning and it hurts, right? The taste of Shakeology is weird. You're pooping sideways for a couple of days and you're wondering if this is ever going to get better, right? Come on, guys, you got to laugh at my joke, right? You wonder if this is ever going to get better. You're sore, you're tired, you got crazy farts, and you're sitting there and you're going like, but something about it says there's something here. And you stay consistent for a couple months and you start to notice that, all right, I'm pooping normal. Cool, switch to vegan. You're pooping normal, right? You have more energy all of a sudden. You feel excited to work, switch to vegan. That's amazing. You have more energy to work out. Right? You're not sore anymore, right? You've lost a couple pounds and you're really starting to want to share this. You're talking with your buddies. Yeah, I've lost 5 pounds. This is amazing. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to stay a little bit more consistent with this. And you decide to keep pushing and stay consistent and never give up. And you feel freaking amazing. And you can't help but share this with other people. Your entire life changes. You've lost weight. Other people are asking you what you're doing and you can't believe how good it feels. So you want to keep going. And all of a sudden it becomes easier to hit Success Club. What about your invites? Start off, people think you're going through a fad. They think you're crazy, right? They don't believe this works. They don't see it from you because you haven't been consistent with the products or personal development enough yet, right? They don't see that belief from you as their coach yet because you haven't been consistent long enough. But you say, you know what? Kelsey's onto something. She's telling me I'm going to do this. Clearly it's working for her. I'm going to stay consistent. You start with a couple people and you help them. You share their success stories. You keep inviting. You keep following up with those no's. You get a couple no's, you know, a couple people on board and a couple more no's, a lot more no's, but it's still hard. But you keep pushing and you stay consistent and you never give up. And you've gotten better. And all of a sudden your skills have improved. You've attended a webinar or summit or Super Saturday and you're getting better at these skills that help you become good at inviting. And the people that are now ready to make a change know that you're the go-to person in your life. So you go back to those people that were saying no and they're like, damn, this kid is still pushing. I want to be part of this. Then all of a sudden those no's you've gotten are all coming around and turning into yeses. And this is really working and this is really working for them. Okay, let's do this. Think about what consistency does with that. How much easier it is to hit Success Club then. What about your posts? right? In the beginning, it's uncomfortable. You don't want to be judged. You don't want other people to think of you negatively. And you start thinking about yourself more than you're thinking about helping the other person. That's what happens when you don't post vulnerably. You're thinking about yourself more than helping them. It's uncomfortable in the beginning, right? They think it's a phase. They think you're just selling something because you don't know how to post yet, right? You suck at posting in the beginning. Everyone does, right? You just want people to join your challenge group. But you know what? Took a social media training, and you keep getting better, and you keep sharing about you, and you start to be really, really vulnerable, right? And you start opening up, and maybe some people start to follow you, but they're still not convinced that they're still convinced that you're going to give up at this, but you don't stop, right? You guys choose not to stop. You keep sharing, you keep showing up every day. You barely get any likes or comments on your photos for a year, but you just keep on going. And you keep on sharing how your life is changing and how other people's lives around you are changing. And they know that they can check your page to see if you have any challenge groups coming up because you've been consistent in sharing them. And then all of a sudden, when their life is ready to change and they want to make a change in their life, they can't help but message you. And think about what happens when you blend all this together. What happens if you make the choice to stay consistent for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? You stay consistent and you make up your mind right freaking now to become the happiest, best person you can be. You follow your nutrition 100%, not 80-20. You follow your nutrition 80-20, that's 5 meals a day times 7 days a week. That's 35 meals a week. If you're having an 80-20 meal plan, that is 7 cheat meals a week. That is how you don't have results. You follow your nutrition plan as it's recommended, right? You drink your shake. You feel the best that you've ever felt. You keep doing your invites and keep trying to get better. You dive into YouTube videos to learn. And people start to find you predictable, right? And they know that they can go to you, right? Your energy starts to radiate and it goes through your screen and they can just feel you. They want to be part of you. And all those no's you've had over the last year start to see that you're for real and that you're there for them when they're ready to make a change. And people see that you're for real on social media and that you never quit, you never give up on people. And all of a sudden, bam, you start getting messages. Success Club happens without trying. You start to gain followers, right? Like, what's this thing you've been doing? How do I join your next challenge? Success Club becomes easy, right? Think about that. And yes, there's still going to be tough months. I had one last month, right? There's still going to be tough months, but for the most part, it becomes easy. What's the only thing that you did? You just stayed consistent through the shit. That's it. You want the secret to building a successful business? Just told you. Stay consistent. That is the secret that everyone is looking for. You spent your time being consistent on the vital behaviors. You never stopped pushing that boulder up the hill. You never stopped pumping that well. You never stopped when other people did. You forget about that lottery ticket mentality, the quick fix, the instant gratification. You develop a habit of success and you activate the compound effect. When you do that, you have earned momentum. Think about that. Creating this momentum, guys. It's so much easier to steer than it is to start. Like, think about that. Momentum is easier to steer than it is to start. You have to build it up. It's just like a locomotive engine, right? In the beginning, that wheel is barely turning around, but you keep putting coal in that or whatever the hell it burns into that engine, wood into that engine, and it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. And finally, that wheel's going, and all of a sudden it starts to get momentum, and it's going as fast as it possibly can. And when that train is stopped on the tracks and at square one, even a 1-inch little wood block can stop a train in its tracks if it's not moving. But when that locomotive's going and it's going and it's going and it's had that consistency and that momentum build up, it can smash through a 5-foot steel reinforced concrete brick, like an entire wall, because it is consistent and you gained momentum. That is the power of momentum, guys. It's something you'll earn, not get, earn. When you have the discipline to define your purpose and to stay consistent when things get tough. So you have to be honest with yourself about this, right? There is an amazing opportunity knocking on your door right now. And it's not going to be encased in something appealing. It's not going to be in something shiny. It's not going to be wrapped in gold tissue paper. But your gut says, I'm supposed to be here. There's an opportunity here. I'm supposed to do this. And there's all these outside voices, people telling you this is a bad idea, all those negative voices in your head, and all those people that talk shit about you and the negative voice in your head that you haven't beaten with personal development. But opportunity is still knocking on your door, and you can step up or you can get the hell out, right? People want the result. People want this to work. We want the shiny things. We want the Lexus to show up in our driveway. We want all this amazing stuff in our life. But are you guys willing to earn the rewards? This is a call about hard work, guys. Like, you know what's interesting about this? Every single day when Kelsey and I wake up, want to know what's not here? Calls like this to motivate us. It's our relationship with practice. It's our relationship with consistency when nobody is watching that's gotten us to where we are right now. I get told all the time, and I'm humbled by this, Brad, you're good at speaking. You're good at speaking. But I want to give an example of consistency there. Do you think I used to be good at this? No. I didn't used to be good at speaking. I was terrified, but I practiced, and I practiced. I stayed consistent. With your business, right? People say, oh man, I want to be a full-time Beachbody coach. That's amazing. And you should be. You can work for that. But you don't know my hours. You don't see my 5 a.m.s, my 1 a.m.s. You don't know my hidden time. You don't know the sacrifice that I put in. Where the hell is yours? Ask yourself that question. Where is your sacrifice? Where are your sacrifices to stay consistent? That opportunity that's knocking on your door right now, with the greatest business in the world and the greatest products in the world, it doesn't happen when it's fun. It doesn't happen when you're at Summit. It doesn't happen at Super Saturday. It happens tomorrow morning and every other day when no one else is looking. It happens when opportunity is knocking on your door. You don't have to carry my schedule. You don't have to have my standard, but you do have to stand for something within yourself. You have to create a standard of excellence for yourself. Good enough, just skating by with Success Club isn't good enough anymore if you want to create the life of your dreams, guys. Good enough isn't good enough. You aren't minimum people, so don't give your family the minimum. I want you to think about something. If you have big dreams with this, you're spending a lot of time on this business, but you're not actually staying consistent with the shit that will create results for you, you are actually being a dick to your family. Because you're wasting time away from them and pretending you're building a business when all you're doing is telling your son or daughter or your husband or wife, sorry, I feel like scrolling social media instead of hanging out with you tonight. That's what you're doing if you don't take this seriously. That is the same thing as looking at your son or daughter in the eye and saying, you aren't worth it. That's what that is. So if you're going to spend time on this, make it count. Don't waste your time doing shit that doesn't matter. You aren't minimum people, so don't just do the minimum Success Club. Don't just do the minimum invites. Go above and beyond. Because guys, is your family worth your minimum effort? Is your future worth your minimum effort? It's not about Kelsey. It's not about your upline. It's about you and your family and your team and the people that you can inspire and help on the journey. Don't give your future the minimum. Guys, it's your turn to make this happen as we leave this call. Kelsey and I, we've done it. We're doing it. We're in the process of it. We're still consistent. But now it's your turn. And it's your choice. I personally believe that success in this business is nothing more than a decision. So decide. You do the shit when no one's watching. You say yes to opportunity when it's knocking on your door. Because when opportunity knocks, it is way too late to prepare. It's not convenient. You have a brand new starting line right now, and I want you to draw a line in the sand. I want you to say, this is it. Because guys, just because you signed up as a Beachbody coach and dicked around for a couple months doesn't mean you've actually started. And I'm not talking to you if you've actually gone all out with this. That's amazing. But if you've actually signed up, but you haven't done it yet, it doesn't mean you've started as a Beachbody coach. So draw a line in the sand. And once you step over that, meaning when this call ends in 3 minutes, once that ends, you're going to come on the other side and you are going to say, there is no turning back. There is no plan B. There's no other option. I'm not giving my future and my family the minimum anymore. I understand the importance of consistency because you know what, guys? Tomorrow morning, this isn't going to be here. What are you going to do about when shit gets hard? I've heard so much bullshit of I'm gonna, but you know what? You haven't shared your story enough. You haven't been consistent enough yet. You haven't invited enough yet. You haven't changed the world enough yet. You haven't made that impact on that person you don't even know yet. You haven't earned that momentum yet. So if we leave here tonight, as we leave here tonight, set your standard because tomorrow morning, that opportunity is knocking on your door. And if you really go after it Instead of doing what most people do, which is shrink their dreams down to the size of their circumstances in their business, you get to go out there and you can build your business to the size of your dreams and contribute to your family's future of happiness and longevity. Kelsey, I will turn it back to you, my friend. I love you guys, and I'll take any questions you guys have. I got 7 minutes before my team call.
I mean, I don't really know what to say. It's one of those, I mean, as usual, you freaking crushed it. It was exactly what I as I was watching the chat box the entire time, and as I was thinking about a lot of the things you said, it just reminded me so much of the past 3.5 years. And like, it gets me emotional because it's like no one sees the shit that we do to get to this point. You know, it was how many hours I've spent away from him. Like, I'm here with you guys for an hour to be with you away from him. And like, he's my everything. And I think about that stuff, and I can't even like imagine having to go out there and look him in the face and be like, babe, I didn't do anything today. My paycheck's going to suck tomorrow. I'm sorry I didn't spend the whole night with you, but you know what? I still didn't do anything. You know, it's just the most important thing, because I know for a fact that you guys are on this team. We're a very family-driven team. We love our families. We want to be there. And like, Brad, that was the best analogy you could have possibly used, because I think about that over the past 3.5 years. Like you said, it's like how much time you spent away from Janice, how much time I spent away from Zach, like him being in the other room, and maybe we're in the same, how many times you guys been in the same room as them and like you're not physically there because your head's in your phone, you know? And it's just like, I've done that so much, and it's like, if I had nothing to show for it right now, then I just wasted so much time away from him. And we don't get that time back. So everything you just said, I have nothing else to, I mean, and it's true. I would say that everybody always told me whenever I first started, like, be here for a year. And I was like, yeah, okay, be here for a year to show that you're still here. But like, if you want like a lifelong impact in your business, it's be here for 5 years. And the one thing I was going to add that I wrote down to what you said about the 5 years is someone gave me this analogy my second year into the business. They said, I mean, for how many of you guys on this call right now, how many of you guys went to college? You guys spent 3.5, 4 years in college. And how many of you guys busted your ass in college? Right? We had to graduate. You literally spent 3.5 years, 4 years, 4.5 years in school, and you didn't get paid a dime. You paid them for your time. And how many guys look back on school and you're like, man, that went by so fast. Could you imagine if you gave that work that you gave to school for 3.5 years into this business, what your business would look like? It's pretty amazing, because you're going to get paychecks the entire time if you give the effort you gave to college. I think anybody have one question for Bragg? I know he has to get on his team call. You guys know me. I'm like, my wheels are spinning as I'm here and I'm talking. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Anybody want to ask him anything? Nothing?
Euler?
Huh?
I just want to say thank you so much. This was a very needed call for a lot of us, I think.
Of course, Stacy. I really appreciate that. Happy to help.
Well, for those of you, I want you guys, his homework for you guys was to really sit down and figure out your purpose. And I would really like to see everybody share that in our team page. I'm going to put up a post with his recording underneath of it. I would really like to see you guys post your takeaways so I can send it over to him, as well as what you feel like your purpose is. And I want you to take time on the purpose. Like you said, I don't want you to just throw something on a piece of paper tonight. I want you guys to sleep on that. So post your takeaways tonight. I'm going to make a post tomorrow, and you guys take the weekend or the next couple of days to just really think about this. Because I really feel like, as I was seeing a lot of you on here saying, like, maybe I don't know my why. Maybe I don't know my purpose. My 7.5 pages in it. Go back through this call. Go back and rewind. I'll have this up in about an hour. Like, go back through this call. And I want you guys, like, if you were one of the people in there that said you don't know your purpose, I am begging you to get in touch with me or get in touch with your upline coach and really let them help you dig deep for it, okay? Because like that's extremely, if you don't know what you're working for, you won't. The reason like Brad and I are where we are today is because every single day we have a reason. We have something we're going after. And that's why I'll never, even 3.5 years, almost 4 years in the business, he's almost 5 years in this business, we still show up. Because he's right. There's no call tomorrow morning. have an opportunity to be all fired up. And I know how people are. They're so jazzed and they're so ready to take action right now. Then tomorrow they'll wake up, they'll asleep through their alarm, and they'll be in a pissed off mood for the rest of the day. They won't read personal development. They'll get their workout done late. They'll barely get their shake in, and I'm too tired to invite. I know how it goes. But the people that are serious will figure it out. So Brad, this was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Anytime, guys. If you guys ever need help with anything, please feel free to reach out. I'm always here.
Awesome. Well, you have a good team call, and thanks for speaking for 2 hours straight pretty much. I appreciate it. And ladies, I will see you guys next week. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Bye.